Hello! This is Janey and Max from Sort of the Story, and we're here to tell you about some things that are happening between episodes 63 to 75.
During these episodes, there are interspersed audio break-ins of a person's voice along with the sound of static. You'll also notice in the show notes for these episodes, there is sort of a puzzle. This is part of a longer puzzle that we did leading up to episode 76, so this is all supposed to be there. Nothing to worry about, just a fun game.
Yeah, and we hope you have a lot of fun with it, and we hope you enjoy listening to these next couple of episodes. All right, enjoy this one. It's a good one, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we say some really stupid shit in this. You're going to love it. All right,
Bye!
Hello, and welcome
To Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey,
And I'm Max.
and this is the podcast where we tell each other stories,
Folktales, fairy tales,
mythology,
literally anything.
anything that we want because we're the bosses. And also, you are here. It's still weird.
We're also your bosses.
Yeah, and now we can tell you to do anything we want. Like, okay, go to the dump, right? Go to the southeast corner. Or rifle around in little bear paws, right? Find something shiny, bring it to our house, give it to us, then leave.
Or else you're fired.
Or else you're fired! And that's
We
the
want-
law!
We want shiny trash on our desk by Friday, goddammit.
Give us the shiny trash! Or we're gonna tell your wife that you are fired.
And then she'll have to tell you that you're fired.
Yeah, we
You want to
have
make your wife fire you?
We are passive-aggressive, shiny trash bosses. And we're here to tell your wife to fire you for us. Woo! Really got lost in that fucking scenario. Well, welcome to the episode 67. Is this your first time listening? At 67?
I get it. It's like if you're rounding to the next closest number,
The next one is 69.
we're 2/3 of the way to 100. Also, the next one's not 69. The one after the next
if
one is
we're
69.
rounding to the closest number. Important number.
I just 2/3 of the way to 100 would be 66.67 repeating 66666. So
devil's
67.
number?
Yeah. This
Oh my
is
God.
this episode's for you, the devil.
Hello, the devil.
We already had an episode. It says happy birthday to me, the devil. I feel like we can't have another.
We can do another happy birthday to me, the devil, next year on your birthday.
Yeah.
Your birthdays are all devil themed.
Love it.
Aw, my birthday doesn't have a theme. We should do Shakespeare stories for my birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, because Shakespeare died on my birthday. And also he was born on my birthday. And now I have something to look forward to dying on my birthday.
I share a birthday with Hugh Jackman.
Huge Axeman?
Huge act man. He's huge and he acts and he's a man.
Wow.
Huge act man.
Huge Axeman. You lucky son of a bitch. You gonna share a birthday with Max? Do you think he goes around saying, I share a birthday with Max Higgins?
He probably says that he shares a birthday with Josh Hutcherson, who is also October 12th.
I feel like when he says that, he shakes his head and laughs like, I wish I had somebody cooler.
Kids these days.
That baby Josh Hutcherson.
Anyways, this podcast has to become really famous so that Hugh Jackman can be proud of the fact that we share a birthday.
Guys,
And to that end,
Make
please
it
remember
happen.
to leave reviews wherever
Yes.
you listen to podcasts, rate, review.
and at Huge Act Man.
Tell
Tell Hugh.
Huge Act Man that we share a birthday and that he should be proud of me.
Update Huge Act Man's Wikipedia. Special facts. He shares a birthday with Max Higgins.
Host of Sort of the Story folklore podcast.
Okay, one of you make it happen.
Please, for the love of God.
We don't know
This is
how
genuinely
to.
all I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
I have
As
so
of
many
just now.
complicated, feelings about Wolverine.
I feel like
He's my dad.
The internet can make anything happen. You remember that How Did This Get Made audience change, every time the Wikipedia gets unlocked, they change Stellan Skarsgård to Stellar Skateboard, and then they do that, and then somebody will find out and then lock it again, and you just have to wait until it gets unlocked, and then they change it again to Stellar Skateboard. Change. Huge. Axemans. Wikipedia.
Huge Act Man. Huge Axeman was in Wolverine Origins, X-Men Origins Wolverine, where he was a lumberjack and was chopping down trees. That was when he was a huge Axeman.
How about huge ass man?
No.
He's a huge ass
Actor
man.
Hugh Jackman is, at every moment of his life, a huge act man.
A huge jacked man.
That's also true.
That's also true.
But I feel like huge and jacked are kind of, in this case, they're sort of synonymous. So it feels
it's like a real
redundant.
ATM machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Chai tea situation. Mm-hmm. All right. Huge ass man. All right.
That's a different guy.
Well, you know what? We're about to tell each other some stories, and if you're a child, get the fuck out of here. I deal with children all day. You're not allowed in my podcast.
Also, belatedly, my drag king name is Huge Ass Man.
I like it.
If I were to have a drag queen name, it would be Christina Ricci Aroundi.
It's really good.
Thanks.
Okay. I'm pitching a drag duo, me and you. Me, Pamela, and her son. You're her son. What? Pamela and her son.
Oh, god damn it.
And it's me, big-breasted Pamela Anderson, and then you dress like a little boy with a little hat that has a little spinny thing on top.
I really like that, but I do feel like it has to be a ventriloquist dummy act.
I've never seen a drag show. Do you think that's what you could
be
do,
a
right?
ventriloquist drag show?
Do we have any drag queens that can let me know if you would want to see
ventriloquism
me,
been done?
Pamela and her son? It's me and Max pretending to be a ventriloquist dummy. And she's wearing a little hat with a spinny thing on top. I think it could work.
It's called a propeller hat.
You're out.
The number of times that I have shopped online for propeller hats is 3. And it's weird that that's three more than most people.
That's 3 more than me.
I know a lot of people who need propeller hats.
I have only ever in my life searched for a hat with a spinny thing on top.
Anyways.
Okay, well, we're going to tell each other some stories now. Max, who goes first? Is it me?
You do.
I think it might be me.
You do.
Okay. I'm
you
excited for the one I'm telling you today.
Nice.
Yeah. It's good for a change, right?
I'm cautiously optimistic about the one that you're telling me.
Ooh. Okay, looks like somebody peeked at my notes. Cool. By the way, if you want access to some bingo cards, a very nice listener made, they're on our Discord, and they are cruel yet true.
It cuts deep.
And one of them is Max looks at my notes.
I try so hard.
At the end, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go kick Francis out of the office, too. Okay, bye!
No.
Okay, Max.
Janey.
Oh, Max, okay. So, I put my little finger across every book on my bookshelf, and then I randomly stopped, and I yanked one out. And it was Scottish Folk and Fairy Tales, edited by Gordon Jarvie. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a Scottish tale today. And if you are a reader, an avid fan of the book series A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I am, as you know, I eat that shit up, and then I go back
Yum,
like
yum, yum,
Oliver
shit.
Twist, and I ask Sarah J. Maas, please, sir, may I have some more? That's me. You're gonna love this story. This is the true story or the original tale of Tam Lin.
Oh.
Yeah.
You mentioned running your finger across your bookshelf and picking a book at random.
Yeah.
I recently bought a bunch of folklore books because I felt like my collection was getting a little bit thin. And today, or yesterday, the last of them arrived. And so they've just been piling up next to my bookshelf, and I had to actually put them away today.
She had a full panic attack.
I did, because I don't have enough space. I have 3 bookshelves and still not enough space for all of my books.
And she kept saying over and over, I just kept hearing her in there going, I can't buy a 4th bookshelf. I can't buy a 4th bookshelf. And I was like, Max, you could, and you should.
No, I can't.
You can't. Anyway, Max, the reaction you had about realizing that you needed another bookshelf was as if we have this like looming parental figure about to yell at you for having too many books. And we don't have that, Max. We're adults who live with their best friend. That's fun.
Oh,
did you just figure it out? Did I just solve that for you?
Oh, I need therapy.
Yeah!
I diagnosed myself with I need therapy.
Add it to the bingo card. Janey diagnoses trauma.
100%. It's because literally every time I've moved, I've had these massive boxes of books that I have to move around and everything like that. And everyone always forever has been like, you're never going to read all those books. You need to get rid of some books. You have too many books.
Cares?
And I got more books, and I'm an adult, and I do what I want.
Yeah, I hate people who are like, you're never going to read those. What do you have them for? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Fucking grow up.
Why don't you mind your own fucking business?
mind your own fucking
Go read a book,
business.
bitch.
Ugh.
Anyways.
Oh, wait, you can't. I have them all. I bought all the books.
I'm sitting on top of a 5-mile high pile of books, just screaming down, and fuck you!
I imagined, I don't know why, because this is not what you were saying, but I imagined that 5-mile high pile of books on top of a skateboard, and you're going down a road and screaming down, fuck you! Your little skateboard goes across. Anyway, Roald Dahl, where's that book? You're not brave enough. Okay. I hope you're writing that in hell. So, I have beef with Roald Dahl. This is the tale of Tam Lin.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it.
Do you know the story?
No.
Oh, exciting.
I don't think.
Do you know the Courts of Thorns and Roses story? I said that wrong.
A little bit.
From what I've screamed at you angrily?
Yeah, it's hard to track a plot.
Okay.
Because you will tell me in depth about specific parts of the plot, but nothing about the overarching plot. So you're just like, I'm so mad because he's so mean. He's so mean, but then the other guy, he's so nice, but evil. I'm like, And it's like, and she's so dumb.
She's so
but
dumb.
But it's so smart.
No, I was right. You're saying all the right things, Matt. So basically, in the first one,
so I don't know what it's about.
Okay, so the main love interest in A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the first book in the series, the main love interest is a Fae High Lord named Tam Lin, and he is High Lord of the Spring Court. There's Spring Court, Autumn Court, all the rest of them, Winter Court, Summer Court. I forgot about the rest of the season for a second. And then there's a Night Court and a Day Court and a Dawn Court. So there's like all of these courts based off of the seasons and what do you call 9 days? Celestial spheres? Anyway, so that's it. And so Tam Lin is the High Lord of the Spring Court, and he is the main love interest. Okay? That's where it comes into. And there's a lot of tropes. I mentioned before when I did East of the Sun, West of the Moon, that book is basically just a retelling of East of the Sun, West of the Moon. And it is. But it also blends in, obviously, the tale of Tam Lin. So I guess this is a new series I'm doing where I just explain the original sources that Sarah J. Maas pulled from. And this is the tale of Tam Lin. You're welcome. Okay.
Remains to be seen if I'm going to thank you.
I wasn't talking to you. I
wasn't talking to you.
I was talking to the ACOTAR fans. Okay. By the way, I have tried to get Max to read this, but I know full well I've ruined it with all my... He's mean, but he's pretty. Oh, but he's bad. There's no way she can read it now and feel good about herself.
No. I might, but...
I think you would... you liked Love Hypothesis for the exact reasons I did, but I don't think you'll like ACOTAR for the reasons I did. Sometimes I think you're too good for me. Anyway.
Janey diagnoses herself
with therapy.
I sentence you to go to therapy.
Should we get a couples counselor? No? That'd be crazy? Okay, bye.
I mean.
All right. We start in Catterhaw. No, we don't. And stop it. We start in Carterhaw.
Okay.
A lonely little town in Ettrickdale in the Scottish borders. And Carterhaw has a fairy legend. And perhaps it is a tale meant to scare young women out of wandering in the woods alone. The way stories are made up to prevent children from going with strangers or getting out of bed after dark, no one knows for sure. But it was so popular that they even had a rhyme that all of the kids learned early on. And this is the rhyme. Quote, "Oh, I forbid you, maidens, Already I would not pay attention to this rhyme. Nobody can forbid me to do anything. Thank you. Good day." And
also, if you have to add at the end of your line so that it rhymes with the next line, then you need to try harder.
Oh, I forbid you, maidens, that wear gowd on your hair, to come or pass by Carterhaw, for young Tam Lin is there. Don't go there. Stop it, maidens. Ah.
Ah.
Ah. Young maidens. Ah.
Oh.
Ah.
Hmm.
Ah. Should we watch The Dark Crystal? No, we're doing something. So Tam Lin was a...
We're busy.
We're busy. Stop it. Tam Lin, 2 words. Tam space Lin was a kind of like Janey Lin, my name.
Oh.
Tam Lin was a young man who had been stolen by the fairies years before. It was well known that any girl who entered the woods and found the fairy well that was there would fall under his terrible spell and would never be able to come back again. Like, nobody ever saw them again. So they had this rhyme saying, do not go into the woods, don't do this, Tam Lin's gonna get ya. Yeah. Okay, so most young women who heard that story of that sexy, sexy fairy boy waiting in the woods to snatch him up were persuaded to stay at home. Most young women were sensible and obedient. And then there was Janet.
I'm sorry, there's Janey?
Janet.
Janey?
Janet. Janet is the name that my autocorrect changes Janey to.
It is.
Janet was a cheery, pretty girl who had golden hair, not like me at all. I'm terrible.
Who?
So she heard the legend, and that only made her more curious about this sexy, sexy fairy boy. Plus, she didn't like being told what to do. Janet had oppositional defiance disorder, which made her fun to know, but not fun to parent. So, one spring day, Janet slipped out of her house, and she goes wandering in the woods. She's like, fuck you and your rhyme, I'm going. She walks quite a ways before she finds this well that everyone's talking about, right? And it was deep, deep in the forest, a place she had never gone before, especially not alone. And it's surrounded by rose bushes with these big, beautiful white roses. And tethered next to it was a beautiful white horse with no rider. And so she looks around, no one's there. She sits down and she waits for a bit, but no one comes. And she's like, okay, well, it seems the mythical Tam Lin isn't here after all. Whose horse is this? And so she sits down and she picks one of the white roses to pin onto her gown. And immediately a handsome young man appears out of nowhere, and he has dark hair and gray eyes. This was Tam Lin. Not anyone else, Max. It'd be weird if it was someone else.
Is he the horse?
Yeah, he's like, why have you come here to talk to Tam Lin? And he gestures to the horse, who like nods like, my lady.
A fairy prince can be a horse. There's no rules against it.
Yeah, there's no rules that say a dog can't play baseball or that a horse can't be a fairy prince. Okay, he asks her, quote, what brings you to my wood, lady, and why are you picking roses from my well? And she smiled and said, technically this is my father's land, which makes this his well. So, and then she says, quote, so I'll come and go in Carter Ha and ask no leave of you or any man. I love Janet.
Except my dad.
Except my dad. And he says, this is fine. So he laughed at her and he calls her brave. And he explains that, quote, this wood belongs to the fairy folk and I am here to protect it for them. So what now? And so Janet suddenly realizes how stupid it is for her to be out here by herself. And she's like, oh, are you really a fairy? And he's like, I just appeared out of nowhere in front of you. So yeah. You didn't see, how the fuck do you think I did that? Just being a normal person? Clearly. Nobody knows how old I am, and there's a whole legend around how I snatch up girls. Yes. Janet. Okay. So Tam Lin is like, hey, why don't we go for a walk then? If you're not scared. And she's like, well, I'm not scared. And he's like, cool. Then let's go for a walk and I'll show you, quote, all the flowers of the forest.
Ooh, even the sexy ones.
This could be an innuendo. Sadly, in this version of the story, it is not. But in every other version of the story, this guy, Gordon Jarvie, edited the shit out of this, okay? So in this version, he's like, no, it's fine. It's perfectly, they just walk. And in every other version, they're like, they fuck so hard. They fuck for hours, even days. It's just a fuck fest. Tam Lin has a huge cock. They are horny for Tam Lin.
I like the idea that Gordon Jarvie was just like, hey, that's pretty good, but you know what's even better?
Chastity.
Horticulture.
Yeah, but have you ever looked at pretty flowers? I have. Gordon Jarvie. So...
I live in the woods.
I am a flower. This story brought to you by a single flower.
Named Gordon Jarvie.
Named Gordon Jarvie. That's such a good name for a single flower.
It really is. That's really good. That's good for me.
All right. Anyway, so after they had explored parts of the forest that Janet had never seen before, she tells them, like, oh, I gotta get going. I've been out here for so long. Everybody's gonna be really, really mad at me. Like, they're gonna send a search party soon. And he laughs and says, oh, not so very long, Janet, not so very long. And he leads her back to the hall where she lives. And just as he said, no one had even noticed that she had left. It was as if time had stopped when she was with Tam Lin. And so, of course, she had fallen deeply in love with him in this one afternoon. And she thought about him all the time after that. She wanted to know who he was, whether he was a mortal man, why he stood next to that well all the time. And all summer long, she wondered and wondered and wondered, until finally she worked up the courage to go back. Which I don't know why she didn't go back right away. They fought so hard.
I feel like you get a pass.
She's like, I'm gonna wait for him to text first. But he's a fairy, so maybe give him a pass. So at this point, it was late October. But when she made it back to the well, she was surprised and delighted to see that there were still roses all over that bush that was next to the well. And the white horse was still waiting patiently for its owner. So she plucked a flower, and again, Tam Lin appears out of nowhere, looking as if he had been waiting for her to return. He's, like, really happy to see her. And she asks him point blank, who are you? Why are you here? And he's like,
you came to my house.
She's like, how old are you? And he's like, 17. She says, how long have you been 17?
Boo.
So he answers honestly, or so the story would have us believe, because we have no reason to believe that this man who is famed for bewitching young girls is who he says he is, right?
More like Shamlin.
Shamlin! Oh, you should read Akatar and then make a TikTok about that.
No.
So he tells her that he was the grandson of the Earl of Roxburgh, and one cold day when he and his party were riding back from hunting, he fell off his horse and onto a green fairy mound, and he was caught by the queen of the fairies herself, and from then on he had been forced to live with her. And he told Janet that...
And she's the horse.
She's the queen.
A queen can be a horse.
That happens again.
I need an explanation for the horse.
That's just his horse.
I don't understand.
He told Janet that the fairy queen was pleasant enough, but there was one problem. Just like one little problem, but otherwise being a fairy was pretty cool. You're immortal, you get to hang next to a cool well all the time, you got a nice horse. But every 7 years, the fairy queen paid a human tithe to the devil, and this year was Tam Lin's turn to be sacrificed to the devil. Just that one problem.
Damn it, the devil.
The devil always finds a way. So he tells Janet that there is good news. If she loved him truly, she could save him. That night was Halloween. It's a Halloween story.
Ooh.
Yeah. And tomorrow was All Hallows Day. And this was the one night of the year when the veil was the thinnest that Janet could possibly save him from his fate of being sacrificed to the devil.
Sure.
So he told her that tonight she must come back to this place and watch for all the horses. He would be riding on the third horse in this procession of fairies. And if she could not count, his horse was the only white one. She might not be able to count. We don't know how dumb Janet is.
Sure.
So when she saw the white horse, she was to pull down its rider and hold fast. And he warns her, the fairies are going to be pissed, and they would transform him into a newt, an adder, a bear, a lion, and a red-hot poker.
In the heart.
Those are the things that he's going to be transformed in.
All at the same time?
Who knows? The last thing they would turn him into would be a burning lead weight, and she had to hold on tight until the lead weight, which she could then throw into the water of the well. And if she did all that, he would be free and they could be together. And then he says, quote, "And remember that if you love me, nothing can hurt you." Which is easy for him to say, but she has to hold on to a burning red-hot poker. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know. That might hurt her a little.
Yeah, it feels like it would.
Yeah. Anyway, she's like, I love you. So that night, she snuck out as he had told her to do, and she hid in the woods. And when she saw the procession of fairies, she stole herself and then jumped up onto the third rider, ripping him off his white steed and then tackling him to the ground and holding onto him tight. I imagine her just like arms and legs wrapped around him like, no, I love you! So the fairy queen shrieked and she pointed her fingers at Tam Lin, and suddenly Janet found herself holding onto a slimy, wriggling little newt.
Aw.
Her instinct was to throw it away from her, but she forced herself to hold on. And then next, it turned into an adder, a big snake that wrapped itself around her neck and started to squeeze, and she still did not let go. She's like, I love you.
Adders aren't constrictors.
I love you.
Are they?
I don't know. Max.
I don't think so.
I'm not a herpetologist, okay?
But are you a horticulturalist?
I'm just a lowly flower named Gordon Jury. I almost called it Robert Jarvie, which is his brother. Okay. So after the adder, it turned into a bear, which was no big deal. Move on. You're the one making this weird. And then a lion, which breathed hot air into her face, and she still did not let go. And then when the lion turned into a red hot poker, she started screaming from the pain because it turns out love can't keep her from getting hurt from burning red hot pokers, but she still did not let go of it. She just let it burn her. And finally, it turned into a weight of burning lead. And so she struggled from the heat and the weight, but she managed to kind of duck walk it to the well. And then she tossed it into the water where it steamed and hissed. And then out from the steam rose Tam Lin, naked, wet and shaken, but more handsome than ever. The Queen of the Fairies screamed at Janet, "Curse you, madam! You have stolen my bonniest knight, my stately groom!" My stately groom! No, my stately groom! But she had no power over the two. They left the forest, and they fled back to the hall where Janet lived. They were welcomed with great joy, and they told their story to everyone, and they lived together for the rest of their lives happily. And eventually they had a son who became the Laird of Carterhaugh. Oh. The end.
Oh.
Nice. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some notes. Again, Gordon Jarvie edited the shit out of this story. This Ballad of Tam Lin dates back to 1549. And in other variants, most variants, when Janet comes back from wandering to the forest with Tam Lin, she finds out that she's pregnant. So looking at the flowers was an innuendo. I found this in a Vox article called, quote, "This Halloween set medieval Scottish ballad is incredibly pro-choice," by Constance Grady. So after she finds out that she's pregnant, she's like, okay, well, I don't want to have a fucking kid with this guy who is a fairy in the forest and won't ever be around to help me take care of this kid. Like, no, I don't want that. And so she talks to somebody and they're like, you know, there's a flower in the woods that'll induce an abortion. And she's like, great, I guess I'll go get that. So she hikes up her skirt and she goes right back into the woods looking for this abortion flower. And she goes to pick it and Tam Lin appears again and is like, hey, what are you doing? That's an interesting flower there. You're not going to eat that, are you? And she's like, oh, I'm going to eat all of it. Yum, yum, yum. And then I'm going to come back for seconds. I'm going to save some for some future abortions too. And he's like, please don't abort that baby. And she's like, fuck you, I do what I want. What are you going to help raise this baby? Are you going to get a job in the mortal realm? No. You don't get to tell me to keep a baby that I solely have to take care of. Nuh-uh. And he's like, I will absolutely go back to I want to go back to the mortal realm and be with you and the baby. Like, if that's the only thing keeping you from keeping this baby, I want to do that anyway, but I physically can't. But you could help me get out of this, and then we could live together and be married and raise this kid if that's what you want. And she's like, all right, what do I gotta do? And so that's how the story goes, is that he tells her how to save him, and then she does, and then she gets to have it all, basically. It's kind of cool.
That's nice.
Yeah. There are a ton of retellings of this folk tale, including, of course, Akatar by Sarah Janet Maas, by the way. Coincidence? I think not. But there's also one called Tam Lin by Pamela Dean, and I think this should be the next book that we read after The Mediator. This is the description. Are you ready? It's another little paperback pulp book. Are they called pulp fiction? They're not pulp fictions. What are they called? The little tiny romance novel books, like The Mediator and all the Nora Roberts books. Paperbacks.
Paperback romance,
not paper bags. Okay, so quote, this is the description. In the ancient Scottish ballad Tam Lin, headstrong Janet defies Tam Lin to walk in her own land of Carterhaugh, and then must battle the Queen of Faerie for possession of her lover's body and soul. In this version of Tam Lin, masterfully crafted by Pamela Dean, Janet is a college student. Carterhaugh is Carter Hall, at the university where her father teaches, and Tam Lin is a boy named Thomas Lane. Set against the backdrop of the early 1970s, imbued with wit, poetry, romance, and magic, Tam Lin has become a cult classic, and once you begin reading, you'll know why.
I love when they don't make you think and be like, oh, these people must be parallels for this. They're like, hey, just, this guy's this guy.
Carter Hall is Carter Hall. Her dad is a teacher. It's a liberal arts college.
She's getting a major in math.
The horse is math. And the well is her degree.
Listen. Mm-hmm. I just want to know, why was the horse there? Why was the rose bush there?
Horse.
What was the well? What was any of that? Why was he there? Why was he summoned by her picking a rose?
Okay, more importantly than all that, Max, what I want to know, Did he kidnap girls?
Did he kidnap girls?
That's not... They wouldn't just make that up. They knew he was
might.
there. They knew he was out there. And they didn't say, oh, there's a man named Tam Lin in the woods. It was specifically, hey, Tam Lin is a serial murderer of women.
I feel like if there was like a spooky man who lived out in the woods, you would be like, you should stay away from him because he definitely did a bunch of murders, you know? Like, that kind of makes sense to me a little bit, where they're like, we know he's a fairy, we know that you can't trust fairies with kids.
I wonder how many women went into the woods and came back knocked up and didn't have...
That's my question.
I bet you anything he has a bunch of illegitimate little Tamlins running around in Scotland, and she was the first one to be like, I'm aborting this. Ew. He was like, wait.
Now that's a keeper.
And that's the one you want. Take notes, ladies. Everyone, all the reviews for that book are all like, I loved it, or like, this is the worst fucking thing I've ever read, which I think is my sweet spot, and I would like to read it.
Yeah.
So while researching the story, I also stumbled upon something amazing. It's called the Carter Haas School of Folklore and the Fantastic. It's a mostly online school ran by best friends Dr. Sarah Cleto and Dr. Brittany Warman. According to their website, they are, quote, award-winning folklorists, teachers, and writers with a combined 26 years in higher education and over 36 publications. Their aim, Max, is to teach people about folklore and fairy tales to, quote, re-enchant their lives. And they give, on this website, they have lectures and they offer courses in fairy tales, folklore, witches, folk magic, writing, and more. And it sounds so much fun. And at their About Me section, they have a section that was like, is this for you? And they said, quote, do you feel betrayed that your acceptance letter to magic school never arrived? Then Carter Haas is for you. And I have no idea if this is great or not. The website's adorable. It's a really well done website. But honestly, seeing two female best friends who started a whole school together based off of folklore and fairy tales makes me think that maybe there's like an alternate dimension and we accidentally are meeting the alternate dimension us. We're crossing over in this episode.
Yeah, for sure. They're us from the future.
Yeah.
Or they're our moms.
No. Well, maybe Starbra, but my mom's not that fun.
No, I mean like spiritually our moms.
Maybe. My mom's pretty fun. This is rude. My mom did tell me most of my childhood stories, but still. Okay, so I included a link to their site if you guys want to sign up and tell us what you think, as well as a YouTube video of two folk singers singing the Ballad of Tam Lin, and it's beautiful.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you listen to it in a second. Off mic. Secret. And among my other sources, the Vox article is there as well by Constance Grady. And that is the story of Tam Lin.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Thank you.
I have questions, but...
Did he murder women? Are there a bunch of illegitimate Tam Lins out there? Little bastard Tam Lins.
Who's the horse?
Hey, Sarah Janet, do you have anything to tell us? By the way, her name is either Janet or in other versions it is Margaret. Mm-hmm. Margaret is way fancier than Janet.
It's one of those things like, there are so many names that you think are really modern that are not.
Yeah, like Brittany.
Brittany, I think like Tiffany, like is like a really old
Jesus
Gallic name, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just a bunch of things that you're like, that has only been a name since like maybe
1970s.
Yeah. Are actually like some of the oldest names that we have.
Well, like putting Lin as the middle name is like trailer trash from the 1970s, and also my parents thought it was a good idea. And then you see Tam Lin. It's trailer trash. Little slut. Anyway. Tam Lin.
We love a slutty little woods boy.
I love a slutty little woods boy. This Tam Lin is so much more fun than this Akatar Tam Lin. Okay. Max, do you want to take a quick break?
Yeah, and you gotta show me them tunes.
I'm gonna show you them titties. Save it for episode 69, Max, okay? There's a plan. I don't know what it is.
Is there a plan?
No, guys, I pitched. Should I tell them what I pitched?
No, because I didn't say no.
Well, then you guys don't get it to stop fucking prying and meddling.
Mind your business.
Mind your beeswax. Okay, let's take a break.
Let's do it.
Bye.
Okay, Janey.
Okay, Max.
Story I have for you today, I'm not going to tell you the name of because it's misleading and spoilers. So we'll get to that at the end.
The boobies that were out and flopping. It's about penguins. Fucking
Blue-footed boobies are not penguins.
prove it.
They're just birds.
Fucking prove it.
But the story that I'm going to tell is from the collection that I have, The World Treasury of Fairy Tales and Folklore, a family heirloom of stories to inspire and entertain by Professor William Gray with Joanna Galar and Rose Williamson. I think
It's been a while.
it
Since
has
you've
been a
used
while.
This book.
As I would say, I just said, like, I reorganized my bookshelf, and this book is huge. It's a big, beautiful, like, pillow-bound copy of just a bunch of global folklore. Some really deep cuts that are really cool. But I had it wouldn't fit on the shelf with all my other folklore collections, so I put it down with my, like, folklore analysis literature, kind of. Like, I have, like, a collection of, like, existentialist folktales and stuff. So I forgot that I had it, is the short of the long. But I do. And so I decided I wanted to use it for today's episode. The story that I'm going to tell you was originally from Stiff Thompson, who you may remember from the collection from last week, 100 Favorite Folktales. This collection that he wrote it in is called Tales of the North American Indians. It came out in 1929. Stiff Thompson also, I don't know if I said this last week, because I don't remember whether I knew this last week.
Okay.
But Stiff Thompson is the Thompson of Arns Thompson Uther.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is very cool. It's
Stiff.
also stiff.
Stiff.
Mm-hmm.
You think his parents hated him? That's not that's not a name you choose out of, like, lovingly considering what your child's personality is gonna be, or, like, what they look like. That's just, like, fucking, I don't care. Stick. No, that's stupid. Stiff.
Well, he was born in the 1800s, so his mom was probably, I don't know anything about medical science, but his mom was probably, like, biting down on a stick. I don't know if they still did that then.
Do you think?
And they were like, what do you want the baby to be named? And she was like, Steve, but she had a stick in her mouth. And the nurse was like, Stiff? Cool.
I like to think that, you know how, like, people are like, today, it's like, my child's name is going to be something beautiful that I like. Like, my child's name is going to be Fox. There's so many kids named Fox today. Probably based off of Fox Mulder, but, like, or my child's name is named after, like, my favorite flowers. They're like Violet and stuff like that. I like in the 1800s, they're like, what's my favorite things? Sticks. I love Dust. But I already have 2 other children named Dust. Stiff.
Yes, so this is Stiff Thompson, and this story is originally Cherokee, so from the southeastern United States. As always, I'm going to pronounce everything wrong. One of our lovely people on Discord pointed out on an occasion where you were talking about the title of a group of people that you were like, Nahuatl? And I was like, Nahuatl sounds right. And we were both wrong.
You remember what it was?
Nope. No, my brain is rotten. It's all just worms and goo up there. So, in this story, it explains, the sun lives on the other side of the sky vault, which is to say, on the other side of the horizon, right? And every day she makes her path across the sky and she looks down on the earth. And exactly at, like, high noon, the center of the sky is the house where her daughter lives, the sun's daughter.
Okay. The sun is a girl in this. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of a female sun.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Okay, exciting.
It's very cool, though.
Yeah.
So every day she makes her path across the sky and she stops at her daughter's house at noon for dinner, right? And then she continues on, finishes her path, goes back to her home on the other side of the sky vault, on the other side of the earth. The sun hates human people because every time she looks down at the earth, anytime they look up at her...
They're all mooning her.
Well, anytime they look up at her, they, like, squint. And so they have their faces all twisted up, looking at the sun. And she's like, they're ugly and mean.
Oh, no. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
Every time I see the sun without sunglasses, I sneeze.
You sneeze. And that's nothing to sneeze about.
If you also sneeze when you see the sun, first of all, it's called achoo because some scientists thought they were being cute. It's an acronym. Second of all, go join the Discord. We'll start our own support group.
Support group for people who see the sun and then they sneeze.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Achoo.
So the sun is like, I hate people. They're, like, really rude and they've got ugly, like, smushy little faces. I hate them. And then her brother, the moon, is like, well, I like them because the moon only sees humans at night.
Everybody looks better in a dim moonlight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't, like, have to squint against the brightness or anything like that. So he sees, like, perfect, beautiful, like, firelit, moonlit, starlit people looking up at him lovingly.
Wow.
So he's like, I think they're actually really pretty and really nice. And the sun is like, well, I think they're ugly. And the moon is like, maybe, I just appreciate them more.
Different strokes for different folks, but all I see is people fucking. And I think that's pretty cool.
I think that's pretty cool. And so the sun is jealous. She's like, I don't understand why you like these like nasty little things so much. So she decides to pass really close to the earth. They talk about humans, people, as being her grandchildren.
Okay.
I don't know the backstory of that or anything about like the pantheon in which this exists, but they're her grandchildren, so that's what they call.
She's like, my grandchildren are ugly.
Yeah, that's what she says, almost verbatim. Like, in the beginning of the story, she's like, my grandchildren are so ugly and nasty, and I hate them. So she decides, because she's so jealous of like these ugly little people, she decides to pass really close to the earth in her path across the sky every day. And so she gets really close to the earth so that people are like scorching in the heat, and they develop this epidemic of like fever that cuts through the population. Like everyone knows someone who's died of this like sun fever kind of thing, and it's looking really bad for people.
Yeah.
So they are at wit's end down on the earth. They're like, what are we supposed to do to stop dying? And so they go to the little men. Which we've talked a lot about little people in various different mythologies.
Yeah! Yay!
But the Cherokee, like, stories have the little men, who are little people. They live in the mountains, and they, like, dance, and they play drums, and they make medicine that other people can't make, and they're very helpful and sweet, and sometimes mischievous. Yes. Yeah, it's very cool. I linked to an article about the little people in, specifically, like, Cherokee stories, which... again, we've talked about this like a dozen times.
Than other little people?
From the little that I read, it seems like they're mostly like a positive force.
Yeah.
But...
Or shy.
I would be hesitant to definitely say that they're less that.
Yeah.
This is literally the first time I've ever heard of Cherokee
little
stories
people?
having little people in them.
Yeah. The other ones I've seen, the Native American ones, they either seem very shy and they stay away, or they are helpful. Like, I don't have a lot of... sinister. Whereas every other culture you get from them, they're like, oh, I'll fucking kill your kid. Will you look at me? Oh, it was a nice look. Do you want gold? Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
It's and also like befriending a mob boss,
yes.
where it's like you don't want to catch their eye, but if you do, you really hope that they like you.
Yeah. It seems like it's less like that. It's more like they're like kind of like in the Scandinavian folklore of like the hidden people a little bit, like the Huldefolk, a little bit closer to that, where they're like kind of just like a separate group of people that is mostly helpful and friendly.
Okay.
And if this is the first episode of the podcast that you've listened to, the little people, the wee folk, etc., are fairies that exist in most cultures around the world in some form. And so we've talked about connections.
We call them little
cultures.
people on this podcast because my grandmother believed in them fully. She was from Antipolo. Bingo. And wow, I bet you anything the people with the bingo cards were like, when is she going to mention it though? But we say little people because that's what my grandmother called them. And that's the main context I had because I grew up fully believing them and hearing the stories almost daily. Yeah. So that's why we say little people. And other cultures also say little people, but I do think it's kind of jarring if you just jump in and you just hear us saying little people.
Yes. Because my family, my grandmother calls them the hill folk for the most part. She's
Appalachian, right? That's like the Appalachian.
No, this is my grandma who lives up in Boston, who is Irish.
Okay.
Irish Italian. She calls them the hill folk. Mm-hmm. And I know someone else in my dad, for whatever reason, because his dad is also Irish. My dad calls them the wee folk.
Wee folk makes sense.
Yeah. So anyways, that's like long, big, around, but like, basically fairies is who they're going to seek for help. And they describe them as being like about knee high and just like very beautiful people, which is nice. So they go to the little men and they ask, they're like, we are being annihilated by this like epidemic of fever. How do we not all die?
Yeah.
And the little men are like, well, it's easy. Honestly, the easiest thing in the world to stop having this happen to you. All you have to do is just go kill the sun.
Kill the sun!
Kill the sun!
Eat that sun! Yum, 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 yum.
So the people are like, well, how are we going to do that? And the little men are like, don't worry, we got you. And they make a medicine, and they take 2 men from the group, and they say, like, hey, we're going to give you some medicine. Are you okay with that? And the 2 guys are like, I guess. And they give them the medicine, and they turn into snakes.
Yeah.
There's a very clear and obvious plan when you are like, I have to go kill the sun, time to be a snake.
It's time to be a snake.
So the little men turn these 2 Cherokee men into a spreading adder, which is also known as an eastern hognose.
Is this the adder episode?
I think it might be.
Ooh.
This is a snakes episode. Also, just content warning, a lot of snakes in my story, so just so you know.
If you have herpophobia, I don't know if it sounds right?
Sounds right.
Herpophobic. Are you a herpophobe?
I think, well, isn't that reptiles? Just all reptiles? I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
Okay.
They turn one into a spreading adder, which is also known as an eastern hognose snake. They have the, like, blunted, upturned nose, and they also, one of the main identifying features that they have is that their lower jaw, like, hinges open in half.
Oh, no. It opens sideways instead of vertically.
Yeah, so it doesn't, like, open like it splits. It just, like, gets wider. Yeah.
Okay.
So
horrifying.
Yeah, so the eastern hognose is known for, it can, like, basically, like, spread out its whole head so that it's, like, really, really wide and everything. One of them is turned into a spreading adder or eastern hognose. The other one is turned into a copperhead, which, if you don't know, copperheads are
bad,
very venomous snakes. And they exist in most of the eastern U.S.,
Bad.
especially southeastern. Yeah.
Bad.
They like to hide in places and then bite you.
They really like that.
They honestly really like that.
That's their favorite hobby.
So the spreading adder and the copperhead go up to the son's daughter's house because they know that the son is going to stop at her daughter's house for dinner. They go up and they wait outside of the son's daughter's house, and eventually they see the son approaching and everything. She gets close to the door, and the spreading adder is like, great, now's my chance. And he opens his mouth and goes to, like, bite her and, like, inject venom into her.
Yeah.
But then she, like, turns and looks at him, and she is, like, bright and stunning so that he is blinded.
Yeah.
And it, like, catches in his throat, and so he just kind of, like, spits some goo up.
Oh, embarrassing.
Which is also, spreading adders are what is called rear-fanged.
Okay.
Which means that rather than having their, like, venom pockets in the front of their mouth, like you would think of with, like, it's way in the back. So they open their mouth really wide and they go, and also the venom is not poisonous to humans, only to amphibians.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the sun.
And the sun. So the sun blinds this spreading adder, and he just kind of is like, and she looks down at him and she's like, you're a disgusting little thing.
Oh.
And then she walks into her daughter's house for dinner, and the snake is like, ah.
It didn't work, guys.
So the spreading adder goes home and is like, well, I fucked up. So, like, from that point forward, that's how they explain, like, why spreading adders have venom comes from the back of their throat.
Because he got scared.
Yeah. And also the copperhead is like, oh, are we done? Okay, I guess we're done. So he goes home also.
Oh.
So they have failed in their quest to kill the sun. And also now they have a complex.
And now they have snakes. They invented snakes. Thank you.
They did. This is the origin story of snakes.
And those snakes didn't even eat the sun?
No.
Useless.
So they go back home, and people keep dying, and they're like, well, we couldn't kill the sun with some snakes, so...
Snakes.
Snakes. So they go back to the little men, and they're like, hey, it didn't work.
Got anything else?
We couldn't kill the sun.
And they were
the
like,
little men are
we do have something else, and they hand him some sick-ass sunglasses. And this,
little
it's called
SPF 50.
SPF.
They go back to the little men and they're like, we need help. It's, it didn't work. And the little men are like, no worries. We had a backup plan. So it's totally fine. And the people are like, oh, great. What is it? And they're like, okay, we need 2 guys. And they're like, okay. So they give them 2 men and they're like, great. Will you take this medicine? And the guys are like, yeah. And they take the medicine and they turn into snakes. They turn into 2 more snakes.
Hilarious prank.
One of them turns into what is known as an uktena, which is a massive horned serpent,
Okay.
right?
Sexy, sexy snake.
And the other one is turned into a rattlesnake.
Okay.
And
Loud boy.
yes. Loud, anxious boy, the chihuahua of the snake world.
Oh, rattlesnakes really are the chihuahua of the snake world.
So the Uktena and the rattlesnake go up to the sun's daughter's house, and they wait for the sun to come back through so that she can have dinner with her daughter and everything. They lie in wait. And the Uktena is massive. It is a huge, like, a buff snake.
Sexy
And so everyone's
snake.
like, so the Uktena's got it, and I guess rattlesnake you can go too. And the rattlesnake is like, well, no, because I'm gonna get it. So the rattlesnake curls up right in front of the sun's daughter's doorway, right? And he's just like waiting there. And the Uktena is just like, okay, man, you go for it, whatever. So they wait there for a while, and then the sun's daughter opens her front door to see if her mom is close. And she scares the rattlesnake, and the rattlesnake bites her, and she dies.
The sun's daughter?
Son's daughter dies, and the rattlesnake is like, sick!
What?
Got him! And then goes home.
She didn't do nothing.
Yeah. He forgets that he was supposed to bite the sun.
Oh.
Tiny, tiny brain.
Big rattle.
And the Uktena is like, well, fuck. Like, I thought we were gonna, okay, I guess we're going home. And it's just, like, angry, right?
Yeah.
Goes back down to the earth. And they're like, well, we fucked up. And the Uktena, from that point on, just gets more and more angry until the point where if the Uktena looks at a man, that man and his whole family will die.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like a...
Is it a
like
real snake?
Huh?
Is that a real type of snake?
So, give me 1 second. So kind of like a basilisk effect of like, this thing holds so much ill will that it is dangerous.
Okay.
Right? And so the Cherokee people pull together a council and they decide to banish the Uktena to... what's it called? What the hell is it called?
Hell.
Galunlari, which is the land of spirits. You're like,
Hell.
you're dangerous. You should be dead. And then it happens.
Okay.
So the Uktena is a motif that occurs a lot of times in Cherokee myth and also in the stories of lots of other like native traditions. It is a massive horned serpent that is like, again, just a spirit of ill will. And especially is associated with things like storms, like flooding and lightning and thunder and electricity and everything like that. So that's, it occurs throughout mythology, and theoretically this is where it came from. So that's just something that recurs over time. Rattlesnake is fine. He's just like, whatever, I fucked up, I guess.
I killed the sun's daughter.
Yeah, so, meanwhile. Oh, sorry. One thing. This story says, and this is, I'm going to read this semi-verbatim. This is why we pray to the rattlesnake and do not kill him, because he never tries to bite unless he is disturbed. So basically being like, he's not going to come after you because he feels a little bit bad about this, but like, don't surprise him because he will bite.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the explanation, is like, hey, if you see a rattlesnake, just give it some space.
Yeah.
That's all. This is like, it's just really cool because this is like an instructional tale of like, here's how you deal with these snakes, you know? Like, yeah.
Cool.
So the sun finally arrives for dinner at her daughter's house, and she finds her daughter laying in the doorway dead with a snake bite.
Real whodunit.
A real who bit it.
Yeah.
And so she goes into her daughter's house and she goes into mourning and she stays there. And so for a long time, everything is dark.
Uh-oh.
People are no longer suffering from this like feverish plague because the sun's not coming out anymore, but it's also never light out. It's
So
nighttime
nothing
all
grows.
the time. Yeah, it's nighttime
Everyone's
all the time.
really sexy all the time. Don't get me wrong, but they're also starving.
Even like in a
sexy way, though. They've all got those early 2000s hip bones.
Mhm.
All of their pants are low rise.
Got that the dark under eye circles that indicate that you are malnourished.
It looks like they all had their buccal fat surgically removed. Chiseled, if you will.
Chiseled.
The moon is masturbating constantly.
Gross. Gross.
What do you think meteor showers are, Max? Grow up.
What?
Meteor showers.
I would say that's the moon sneezing.
That's the moon coming.
No.
Fucking grow up.
No. I don't want to live in
Moon
a
sperms.
world where that's
Moon
true.
sperms.
Ugh. So the sun is closed away in her house and she's not coming out. It's dark all the time. The people are like, well, this is probably also bad.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say, the little men were like, just kill the sun. And like, this is what would have happened.
Yeah, the
right?
little men really needed to
They were like,
think
let's
about
not
this a little
solve this
more.
problem and make a bigger problem.
What do you want from us?
So they go back to the little men and they're like, hey, so the sun is hiding in her house and it's dark all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what do we do? And the little men are like, easy peasy, no problem. Here's what you got to do. You got to go bring her daughter back from the dead.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, sure.
Classic.
How, what? And so the little men explain that they have to go to, I have to read this because it's words that I don't know. They have to go to Susningai in Usanhi?
Flawless. You're doing a great job.
Usuni? My handwriting is so bad and my pronunciation is worse. Which means the ghost country in the darkening land. And bring back the sun's daughter's spirit.
Okay.
Also, the ghost country.
Ghost Country should be an album.
Mm-hmm. Ghost country, population me.
Oh, Ghost Country should be you know how the outlaw country is a genre of, like a subgenre of country?
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Country should be a subgenre as well.
Yeah.
Spooky country music.
Spooky country.
Spooky country, there's a long dark train.
It's just Johnny Cash. So, they pull together 7 men from the town.
From Ghost Country.
No, from the not ghost country.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Regular place.
From the country.
So they pull together 7 men and they tell them, here's what you have to do, right? You're going to have to go to this basically like spirit realm, the ghost country, and you're going to have to find all of the ghosts that are dancing, which is all of them. And then you got to find the sun's daughter.
You got to break up the party.
Yeah. And when you find her, she's going to be dancing with all of them. And when she steps out of the dance, you're going to take these sticks.
No! These sticks.
And you're going to take these sourwood sticks. And you're going to whack her until she's unconscious.
Oh, no!
And then you're going to put her in a box and carry her back to her mom.
Okay.
But here's the thing. You can't open the box.
No, they're going to open the box. Max? Actually, no, you know what? They might not. This is 7 men. They might keep the box closed. If this was 7 women, we know for a fact they would be like, and we'll put her in the box and really quickly just open it up and we're dead.
So they're like, don't open the box.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
No.
Don't even open it a tiny bit.
You already know
in
what's in the box, so you don't have to open and peek.
No, you don't have to. And you shouldn't. And don't. Or else.
Yes. You have explicit instructions. Repeat them back to me. Get the box. Yes. And then? Open the box. No!
No, well, open the box. Put her in.
Okay.
Close the box.
Open the
box. Okay,
box.
open the box.
Yeah.
No. Close the box.
What if they bring a clear Tupperware box? They never are tempted to open it.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
So they walk west for 7 days until they reach the ghost country in the darkening lands. Sorry, they go into the darkening lands and then they go into the ghost country, which is within the darkening lands.
Okay.
And they find a massive group of ghosts who are all dancing as though they were home in their settlements, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
They're all just like hanging out, having a party.
Having a great time. They're like, we're here to ruin things.
Yeah. And they see a woman who they recognize as the sun's daughter. And she's, it's kind of like a group dance. And so once she gets to the part of the group that is on the outside of the dance, one guy comes up and whacks her really hard with a stick, and then all the other ones whack her. And it's important that it's 7 men who walk for 7 days, and then they hit her 7 times until she is unconscious.
Yeah.
They just mug this woman at a
Yes.
dance, which is a nightmare. So they whack her with sourwood sticks until she's unconscious, and then they put her in a box.
Yes. And I've seen nothing wrong with this.
And then they pick up the box and they start walking home. And they walk towards their house. And after a little while, she wakes up / comes back from the dead in the box. implying that maybe, I know that she was already dead and a ghost, but they specifically are like, and then when she comes back to life in the box, it's like, so did they beat her to, did they beat her ghost
life.
to death?
No, they beat her ghost to life.
So she like wakes up, comes alive inside of the box, and she's like, hey, can I come out of this box?
What if you let me out of this box?
And they are like, no, there's one rule. We're not going to break it. You can't come out of the box. And she's like, oh, okay. But like, can you take the top off of the box so that I can
really quick
come out of it? And they're like, no, you can't come out of it. That's the one, literally the one rule that we have to follow. And so she's like, oh, okay. No, understood. Anyone else hungry? Should we like stop somewhere, grab some food? And they're like, no. And you can't come out of the box. She's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'm just like a little bit peckish, but if you guys wanted to stop, I would be fine, you know.
Okay, officially, I'm imagining Betsy Sedaris in the box.
Yeah.
Anybody else? You guys just want to stop or something? No, you don't? Okay, yeah, me neither. I was just thinking if you wanted to.
She's like, well, I'm like, you know, like kind of like pretty hungry. Like I could eat. Like I would, maybe I'm actually kind of like really hungry if you guys feel like stopping. And they're like, no, you can eat when we get to your house. She's like, oh, word. Okay. So I'm just going to stay in here until we get to my house. That's cool. Can I have something to drink? And they're like walking along and she's like, what if I was really thirsty? What would you say about that? And they're like, no, you can have water when we get to your house. And she's like, okay, but what if I was like
that's
really,
7
really
days
thirsty?
From now.
And she like is like, I'm so thirsty. And they're like a little bit worried at this point. They're like, maybe
she's gonna die within 7 days.
Yeah, they're like, maybe this is dangerous for her. Maybe she is really thirsty.
Dunk her in a lake.
Janey, I don't think that's the solution.
Dip her box in a lake. Max, it's a simple solution. A lake.
So finally they're like getting close to home and she's like, all right, like we're almost there. Mm-hmm. It is gross in here. It is like suffocatingly.
I have peed every day for 7 days in this box. The last thing I ate in Ghost Country was a quarter pounder with extra cheese. It is nasty in here.
She's like, this place is musty as fuck. So she's like, can you just, I won't even come out, but can you just like open the lid of the box a little bit so I can get just a tiny bit of fresh air in here, right? And they were like, well, we're almost there, but I mean, it's been a
you guys gotta see this tweet I just saw. Oh my god, this is hilarious. Open the box so I can pass you my phone. And they're like, okay, wait a minute. What's a phone?
So they're like, well, I mean, if we open the box just a little bit, she won't get out, right? Yes, it's probably safe, right?
No, don't open
That's probably
box.
fine.
Also, what did they even say? They said something about opening the box. I think we're being crazy.
So they give in and they open the box, just a teeny tiny little crack, and a red bird flies out of the box. And they're like, okay. And it just flies off into the woods. And they're like, all right, and that's enough air for you. And then they close the lid again. And they keep walking until they get back to their settlement. And then they open the box and there's nothing inside. Because the red bird was the sun's daughter.
Yeah. Classic sun's daughter.
Classic sun's daughter. So because they didn't listen,
the sun never came back, and that's why it's always night.
Yeah.
The end.
Finally, an explanation for why it's always night. So because they didn't like follow the instructions, if they had, then they would be able to bring other people back from the dead. But because they didn't, they can't. So anyone who dies is in the ghost country forever. Kind of an explanation for like why people are dead for good.
I've always wondered why people are dead for good.
You know, so the son was really excited when she saw these men leave, heading to the ghost country to retrieve her daughter, and then they come back empty boxed, and she's heartbroken all over again. And so she cries and cries and cries and floods the land to the point that people are like, oh, we're gonna drown.
The Great Flood.
Yeah. So they pull together a council and they pick handsome young men and women. Oh, okay. And they send them up to the son's house to sing and dance for the sun to make her feel better about how her
Look
daughter
how
is
pretty
dead.
we are. Don't you like our butts?
That's a really good song.
Take a look at this face.
Take a look at this butt.
It's a song that rhymes butt with butt over and over again. Do you really want to drown me? Just look at my butt. Oh, stop crying.
I wish you'd stop your frowning. Just look at my butt.
This is the butt song. But.
So the sun has all of these handsome young men and women singing and dancing for her, but she like has her head in her hands and is just like mourning and won't even look up at them.
Not even at their butts.
Not even at their butts. They're like, come on, just look at my butt.
No, you shouldn't have opened the box.
So, but after a very, very long time of them, like, sort of desperately performing for the sun, this one drummer, he's, like, playing a song, and then he, like, changes the rhythm.
Oh.
And it, like, surprises the sun.
This is a butt of glory. This is a butt of peace.
So it surprises her, and she looks up, and then she sees, finally, all these people dancing and singing, and she's happy again. Wow. And now she's the sun again.
I'm sorry. Seeing those hotties shaking it on our lawn.
It's like, you know
really
what? I
did
don't miss my daughter.
Replace her love for her daughter.
Anyways.
So, in a sense, Max, what you're telling me is the milkshake was her daughter's death. And it, hold on.
The milkshake was her daughter's death.
And then
the boys in the yard were all of the
yard
non-gendered. It was just like anyone can come here.
I think we
shake
have
their ass for the sun.
Max and I have several times on this podcast wordlessly decided that the boys is a very non-gendered word for us.
Yeah.
This one's for the boys.
Yeah.
That's non-gendered for me. I'm taking it back. You don't get that.
We're all boys.
We're all boys now. How do you like that? That's ours now.
If you're a girl, you're a boy.
Yeah. If you're non-binary, you're boy.
Unless you are a trans girl, in which case you are a girl, and I'm very sorry if that was
you know
bad.
what? And if you're non-binary and you really don't like the term boy, you're not one of the boys. No, you're one of the boys, but you're not a boy.
Yes.
This is the problem. This was for the boy.
So, I told you before that I would tell you what the story was called at the end.
Okay, hold on. Can I guess?
Uh-huh. You're not gonna guess.
Okay, yeah, no. The only thing coming to mind was butts and snakes. Butt snakes of yesteryear. We are the butt snakes of tomorrow. The sun gets her groove back. Is that it?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, but we do have to start a band called the Butt Snakes of Tomorrow, and then our first album has to be called The Butt Snakes of Yesteryear.
And the Butt Snakes of Yesteryear is the title song, and it's just, look at our butts.
Look at our butts.
They are so nice.
Stop your frowning, so we can stop drowning. Look at our butts. Our butts. Look at our butts.
Would you guys buy that album or no?
Or no?
Would you go to our concert? We're opening for Taylor Swift.
So this story is called Orpheus.
Nuh-uh.
This is, I rarely feel like we should be taping, like, videotaping this podcast, but that was one of the moments where you were like, and then I just, like, watched, like, your eyes steal over, and you were like, what? No, it can't be. Wait, am I thinking of the right thing? No, I am. No, it can't be. No.
I stand by that.
The story is called Orpheus. And the reason for that is because Stith Thompson is one of the big names in comparative literature.
Okay.
So these stories didn't have names necessarily in themselves. Like, they weren't like, tell me the story of Rumpelstiltskin. They were like, tell me the story about the woman, you know, like...
Yeah. The woman who spun gold.
Yeah. So he named this story Orpheus because of the parallels to the Greek myth of Orpheus, where Orpheus has to go to the underworld and save his wife. And as they're exiting the underworld, the one rule is that he can't look back at her.
Oh, yeah.
And then he does.
Yeah, that's exactly this story.
Yeah. So again,
also in that same exact story, there are two snakes who accidentally murder the son's daughter and then have to fucking get out of there.
Yeah, so he stiff.
I just remembered that there's a bunch of people shaking their ass on the lawn. I don't know why.
Sun's out, buns out.
It just fucking hit me. Why did that work?
This episode has to be called Sun's Out, Buns
Sun's out, buns out.
So Stiff Thompson, because he recognized the parallel between this and the Orpheus myth, called this story Orpheus, which I think is really interesting, especially knowing that he is the Thompson from Arns Thompson Uther, having those parallels. He came up with the Arns Uther Index was its own thing that was kind of just like, this is what happens in this story. Thompson had an index of his own called the Thompson Motif Index, which is more about the themes rather than the actual events of the story.
Yeah.
And then the Arns Thompson Uther Index includes kind of both. It's like it crosses over between the two. It has a little bit more nuance and everything like that. So I think that the fact that he is one of these big names in comparative folklore and that he called this story Orpheus, I think is a really cool indication of just who he is as a folklorist, you know?
That is cool. Except I'm not a fan of this man renaming a Cherokee story.
Yeah.
You know, just because of how Native American stories are named, they are fairly specific. Like, you can usually tell if it's a Native American story because it's pretty descriptive.
Yeah.
And calling it Orpheus really is just like Stith wanting to put his little spin on it. And I don't think he needs to. It's already weird enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just...
But I do see the parallel a lot, you know, and I think that's a really cool comparison to make, but, like, actually changing the title and not including the original title, you know, what they would say in... And I don't know if this is the same with Cherokee, but I do know it's the same with Sioux and with the Haudenosaunee, Iroquois people, is they'll say, this is the story of the wolf who tricked Iktomi, or like this is the story,
the daughter of the sun and the snakes.
Yeah, like this is the story of how the sun got her groove back.
And how the sun got snakes,
but like
you got snaked.
That's what it would be, and so you know that this had a quote unquote title, even if it's not necessarily like written down. That's the title, but you know that it had a title. People would be tell me the story of XYZ.
Yeah,
and calling it Orpheus feels. It doesn't sit well with me.
So one of the things, actually in the edition of the Family Heirloom of Stories to Inspire and Entertain, which is the Pillowbound edition that I have this story in, which is not just Sis Thompson's, it's the one that's a bunch of works.
Yeah.
They have a little post note on all of the stories to be like, hey, here's a little bit of context. Here's like an analysis of the themes.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little thing. And one of the things that they mentioned was they were like, it's entirely possible based on what we know of cultural interaction between like Native American Indians and the settlers. And based on the time and the obsession with Greek mythology at the time, it is likely that settlers in like sharing stories would have shared the story of Orpheus, and Native peoples would have been like, we have a story that's like that, and adopted components, or, you know, just like mutually shared. So it's possible also that Stith Thompson didn't rename it. It's likely that he did,
or
but it's possible that they were like
into
the
actual story.
Yeah, it's possible. True. Yeah. Or that, you know, it could be any number of things. It's pretty unclear because, again, Stith Thompson was doing all this research in the early 1900s. So, like, folklorism as a concept and, like, analyzing sort of the threads of folklore and things like that wasn't so much of a concern. And there's no proof that they, like, the people who were telling the story were like, and it's like Orpheus in Greek myth. But it's also not impossible that they were.
Yeah,
especially because he has a massive collection of North American Indian stories, as he calls them. All the rest of them are named regular. So it's just a weird little thing. Yeah, why I didn't want to tell you the title at the beginning, because
I would have. That was so random, and it does make sense. But what a random thing to throw out there! That broke me.
Butts.
It's clear that story is called "The Story of the Snakes and the Butts." The time the sun saw snakes and butts.
Oh, I also love just literally the one moment where the sun looks at a snake and the snake is like, And she's like, oh, gross.
I agree with her. Oh, man. Well, that was delightful, Max. Good job.
Thanks.
Another episode on the books.
From the books.
Another episode from the books. And for the boys. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Guys, let us know what you thought about this, either on our various socials, like Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and all the good ones at Sort of the Story. You can email us with any thoughts you have at sortofthestory@gmail.com. And you can join the Discord, and I hope you do, because it's very fun. If you want bingo cards that our very lovely listener, Netro, made, they are adorable and hurtful. But
you can find the links to all of those on our website, sortofthestory.com.
And by this time next week, or by this time when you actually hear this podcast recording, we will have already read the book The Mediator by Meg Cabot. By Meg Cabot, the author of The Princess Diaries. We will already read that with some of our listeners on the Discord, and there's a book club channel on there where we are talking about all of our thoughts. So if that's something that's interesting to you, join the Discord and go read those, I guess. I don't know.
We'll probably do other books in the future, if you would like that.
All right. And as your bosses, we command you to go to sleep.
You're fired.
Go to bed. Sorry, can you
I'm
put
your wife and you're fired.
Yeah, can you put your wife on the phone real quick? All right, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful... Oh, rate and review. And thank you to Keith.
Oh, thanks, Keith.
Hey, Keith. Thank you.
Hey, Keith, have you left a review yet?
Keith, did you leave a review yet?
This is a call out for Keith. Get on your stupid tiny phone. Leave us a review. Keith.
Keith. I don't know if
Bitch.
I want Keith reviewing this podcast. I think that might have too much power.
Yeah, probably.
Keith?
He's already got enough power.
Has too much power as it is.
All right.
Keith, put your wife on the phone. We have something to say to her. Don't worry about it. Okay, goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Testing.
Hello, Chicago.
This episode is actually solely for people in Chicago.
If you're hearing this and you're not from Chicago, then you're breaking the law and we're coming for you.
Hey, did you just listen to that whole episode and you're not even from Chicago? That's against the law.
How does it feel to be a felon?
Yeah, wow.
Actually, don't tell me. I don't want to talk to you.
You outlaws, you sexy, sexy outlaws. What's up? Max, look behind you. Whoa, look at that. I'll talk to you. Just slide into my DMs, you non-Chicago outlaws. If you're a Chicago outlaw, ew!